What moment forced an empire to bow? How did China turn tragedy into triumph? A few years ago, the world watched in silence. Beijing's sky filled with fighter jets. Tanks rolled through Tiananmen Square. Thousands of troops marched in flawless precision. It wasn't just a parade. It was a reminder. A reminder of China's greatest victory, the defeat of Imperial Japan in 1945. A victory carved out of blood, sacrifice, and survival. Today we relive that moment. The road to Japan's surrender. China's moment of triumph. Part 1. Before surrender, the long war. The rising sun flag appeared over Manchuria. Japan's empire wanted land, resources, and domination. China became the target. The Marco Polo Bridge incident. Japanese troops clashed with Chinese soldiers. It wasn't just a skirmish. It was the beginning of full-scale war. Then came the nightmare. Nanjing. 6 weeks of blood and fire. Mass executions. Rape without end. The world called it the Rape of Nanjing. China called it survival in hell. But China did not break. From Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists to Mao Zedong's communists, divided factions put aside their hatred. For one goal, resist Japan. Years of guerrilla warfare followed. Japanese troops faced ambushes, sabotage, and endless resistance. Every town they took, they had to fight again. China became a graveyard for Japanese ambitions. By the early 1940s, the tide turned. Japan stretched its forces too thin. The United States entered the war. Allies poured support into China. The Japanese war machine began to crack. And then came August 1945. The world changed overnight. 2 atomic bombs fell on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Soviet Red Army invaded Manchuria, and Japan, once unstoppable, was brought to its knees. Part 2. The Surrender, China's Victory, September 2, 1945, Tokyo Bay. On the deck of the USS Missouri, Japan signed its surrender. The Empire of the Rising Sun bowed its head. But for China, the true moment came days later. In Nanjing, the very city Japan had drowned in blood, now became the stage of surrender. Japanese generals in full uniform entered a hall filled with Chinese officers, their faces stiff, their pride shattered. On September 9, 1945, General Yasuji Okamura, commander of Japanese forces in China, signed the document of surrender. Opposite him stood General He Yingqian of the Chinese National Revolutionary Army. One pen stroke. 14 years of resistance. Millions dead. But victory was finally China's. Witnesses described silence. The weight of history pressed down. For the first time in modern history, China had forced a foreign invader to kneel. In that moment, Nanjing was no longer a city of tragedy. It was a city of triumph. Part 3. After surrender, legacy and memory. Celebrations erupted across China. Villages lit lanterns. Cities rang bells. Families wept with joy. The war was finally over. But the scars ran deep. China had lost more than 20 million people. Entire towns erased. Generations scarred forever. Yet the victory mattered. It was proof that China, once called the sick man of Asia, could rise, endure, and win. And decades later, that memory returned to the world stage. September 3rd, 2015. 70 years after the surrender, China held its grandest military parade in Beijing. Fighter jets roared overhead. Missiles rolled through the capital. Troops marched in steel formation. And on giant screens, images of 1945 flashed. Japan's surrender, China's victory. It was not just about history. It was about power. A message to the world. China remembers. China endured. And China rose from the ashes of 1945 stronger than ever. Closing the story of Japan's surrender to China is not just history. It is survival written in blood. It is victory carved from tragedy. It is why today, when China shows its military might, the world pays attention. Because behind the missiles and parades lies a memory. The memory of September 9, 1945. The day Japan surrendered in Nanjing. The day China stood tall. The day history turned. Amazing grace. The war ended. But the story lives on.